Hi, I'm Mike from ClearBlue. Today we're installing a ClearBlue A800 model on an Atlantic above ground pool. So inside the box you have your ClearBlue controller, you have the mineral cell, you have the clear T, which can be either 1.5 or 2 inch, and the copper test kit. The tools and materials you'll need include a tape measure and marking pen to measure and mark the spot where you're going to cut out the pipe for the T. You need a sawzall or hacksaw to cut into the PVC, an electric or hand screwdriver to screw the mounting screws for the controller into a wood or other surface, PVC primer and glue, and a little bit of Teflon tape. It's a good idea to mount the controller in an area where it has a little bit of protection, like under the lip of the above ground pool, so that it gets a bit of shade and a bit of protection from the rain. Ideally, the T should be placed on the return line that runs clean filtered water back into the pool, so after the pump, filter, and heater. In a pinch though, the T can be placed anywhere. In this case, we have a nice run of plumbing right here, but it's a little close to the ground, so we can't place the T like how you would see it in the manual, but this is fine. The important thing is that the T is always full of water. Before you start cutting into your plumbing, it's important that you shut off the pump. Also, if your setup has shutoff valves, shut those off as well. You want to measure a 2.5 inch gap on the pipe that we're going to cut out in order to glue in the T. So you can cut through the pipe with a hacksaw, or if you have a sawzall, that works well as well. So after you cut the pipe, just let the water drain out of it. If you have a discharge valve on your heater, you can open that up as well to help the water drain a little faster. So in order to get the T in the right orientation, you can put a mark on the T and then the spot on the pipe where you want to line it up. Make sure that the pipe is dry before you start applying the PVC primer and glue. You want to apply PVC primer and glue both on the outside of the pipe and on the inside of the T. So once the T's in place, you can screw in the mineral cell. Before you put it in, it's important to wrap the threads with Teflon tape. Continue to wrap the threads until they're completely covered. So once you've wrapped the Teflon tape around the threads of the cell, you just screw it into the T. It's important that the two bars of the cell are oriented such that the water flows between them. You just need to tighten the cell until it's hand tight. No tools are required. The next step is to mount the controller. On an above ground pool, the upright is a great place to put it because it protects the controller from the elements. When you're fastening to the upright, it might help to pre-drill the holes. Once you've mounted the controller, you can plug the cell into the pink connector on the control box. Then you just need to plug the power into a GFI protected outlet. Once you've hooked up the cables, you can open up your pool and turn on your pump again. So once the system fills back up with water, you'll see that the ionizing light starts flashing. That means that everything's hooked up properly and the system's working. So for a 13,000 gallon pool, we're going to set the ion action setting to 40. And then we're going to set the large dose to 45. The large dose function is designed to ramp up minerals in the water, and the ion action setting is your maintenance setting. And that's it. So now you just need to let the controller run on large dose, in this case for 45 hours. That's going to allow the minerals to ramp up in the water. After 4 or 5 days, you want to test the water with the included test kit. If you're in the range of 0.2 to 0.4 parts per million, you're done. If you find that your copper level is a little bit low, press the large dose button and set it to the same value as you did the first time. Continue this process until your mineral ion level reaches the 0.2 to 0.4 range. Once you're there, you never have to touch it again. Every ClearBlue system comes with a Lamont copper test kit. It's a good idea to test the copper ion level about a week after you install the system. It's really important to follow the instructions on the card that come with the kit. Fill the test tube with water from your pool. There's a line indicating where you want to fill to. Add 5 drops of copper A to the tube. Put the cap on the tube and invert it. Remove the cap and add 5 drops of copper B. Replace the cap, invert the tube, and then place it in the holder for 3 minutes for the color to develop. After 3 minutes, remove the cap and compare the test tube with the color chart that comes with the kit. It's important that you look down the top of the test tube to judge the color. Once the color is indicating 0.2 to 0.4 parts per million of copper, you're in the perfect range. It's important that you maintain your chlorine level at 1 to 3 parts per million while the mineral ions are ramping up. After about a week, once you've tested the ions and they're in the right range of 0.2 to 0.4 parts per million, you can start ramping down your chlorine. In this case, we have an offline chlorinator, and we could just dial that back to one of its lowest settings. If you don't have a chlorinator, then you can use stabilized chlorine tablets in your skimmer. So you want to use 1 to 3 tablets while the minerals are ramping up, and once you've reached the right range, you can reduce that down to 1 3-inch stabilized chlorine tablet per week.